Welcome. Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown, the unofficial sumo podcast for official sumo fans. This is Ryan.
This is Fleric.
This is Jake.
And this is Mac.
Hold on, Mac.
Whoa, hey.
Somebody else should be introducing you today.
Oh, indeed.
I guess you did such a good job introducing me, but so the last person, last and definitely not least, especially on this episode, is nothing else but the great, illustrious, illuminous, smart picking guy. It's none other. Yes, it's right. All those adjectives are correct. It is Yokozuna Mac, the best sumo predictor that all of Natsu 2024 has ever seen. Welcome, Yokozuna Mac.
I appreciate luminous. I do need my
luminous.
Sunglasses when Mac is around.
Well, he said illuminous, and so I did a quick Google search, and apparently that does count as a word. So
That is officially in the dictionary.
A proper adjective. All right.
Whether it
mean
meant what
not
I
luminous?
intended. Yeah.
basically, yes.
Okay.
Thank
I
you,
was going
Suki.
for luminous, so whatever. We'll take it. Continue on. I've done my part.
Welcome,
Very well.
Yes.
welcome to the Natsu Basho recap. We have yet another historic U-Show winner, and
Two in a row.
It's fantastic. I think it's fantastic.
Wait.
Do you think the BBC is going to call us again?
Oh, that would be cool.
We'll see.
So,
I'm banking on the New York Times this time.
ooh,
Hey,
hey,
real quick, Katie got on my case that we haven't talked about that BBC thing often enough on the show. I think we might have mentioned it in one of the maybe the
On the preview.
episode.
On the
Yeah.
preview.
But
Go check out.
It's gone now. It was only up for 30 days.
Oh no!
Is that how
Yeah.
that works? Oh well.
Well, yeah,
bummer
if you look
then.
on their site, it says stories available for 30 days after posting.
All
so
right.
I
Well, maybe
don't know
next
if you
time we
can-
won't even pick up their call.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember
Who are those
right?
guys?
It's just
No,
a
they're-
happy pod.
They're like daily news podcasts. They did like a
Yeah.
quick segment on Takeru Fuji's historic win, and they had, they needed some English language sumo commentators to tell them how historic it was. So after
sumo
nobody else picked up the
experts.
phone, GSB did.
Yes. Bottom of the line when it comes to experts.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun, and hopefully we can find that out there somewhere. I hope that still exists in some format.
All right, and before we dive into our recap of the historic Natsu Basho, we have to give compliments to our existing patrons and especially to King of the Toads. Toads may not
My
get
liege.
complimented often, but they're truly fascinating creatures. Their rugged appearance adds to their charm, and their ability to adapt to various environments is remarkable. Plus, their distinctive croak adds a unique ambiance to any natural setting. Toads are an essential part of ecosystems, and their presence enriches the world around us in ways we might not always notice. So here's to the toad, a resilient and intriguing member of the animal kingdom.
And their king.
Important.
So that
I was about to say,
applies
and
to all of our patrons. Just
I was about to say, all of our patrons there, Ryan.
Has absolutely nothing to do with King of the Toads was the name of us that we pulled out of the hat and therefore
Yeah.
plugged into Chat GPT.
already had that complimented locked and loaded before we had King of the Toads selected as the person we would specifically
we
highlight.
seriously lucked out.
Yeah.
It's gonna get weird otherwise.
Jake, why don't you update everybody on Amazumo and the little mini event that we had yesterday?
Yeah, I hurt very badly. Iowa Sumo Club put on our first real event. We had a demo at the local Asian festival here in Des Moines. Celebration. It's like a 2-day closed. How many blocks was that? I think they closed down like I don't know 4 city blocks worth of streets.
It's like almost the
Maybe
entire
more.
sculpture park area.
Yeah, it was awesome, and they had us up on the main stage. We did a presentation in front of a couple hundred people. That kind of blew me away. Was a little bit nerve-wracking to go up on stage in front of that many people to do sumo wrestling, but it went very well. And I especially want to shout out our friends from Minnesota and Chicago. Richard and Ian came down from Minnesota to join the Iowa crew. Randy came out from Davenport to join us from Quad City Sumo Club, and we had Jamie and Sam come out all the way from Chicago. So it was awesome to have them there. And while Yama is in Japan, his wife Megan is still traveling around the Midwest saying hi to people. So she was able to come out, helped us out during the day, and made sure everybody was stocked up on our Yama stickers. So that's always a plus. But yeah, so thank you to everybody who made that happen. I'm sure we'll talk about that more in the future, but that was a ton of fun. Other things that are coming up. It is now too late to get to nationals, probably, if you are just hearing about it from this. But U.S. Sumo National Championship will be on the Maximum Effort Studios YouTube channel this coming Saturday, June 1st. You can find the signups on Smooth Comp. Just search for 2024 U.S. Sumo Nationals. But I'm pretty sure registration is closing. So if you are just learning about sumo or nationals now, probably too late. But I definitely want you to watch it on Saturday and learn about amateur sumo. And just off the presses here, the Riverfront Open will happen in Grand Rapids on June 22nd. That one has been kind of in the works, but just took a little bit to make it final because that's it's just been kind of a difficult festival to make sure that they were able to get their slot. What's up, Flair?
Grand Rapids, Michigan, right? That's the state.
Yes, I'm sorry, Grand Rapids, Michigan. But yeah, that's what we got. And then July and August are a little bit lighter on events, so tune in later to hear more about that. But definitely check out the June newsletter that'll be coming out in about a month because there will be 4 tournaments worth of stuff to cover in that. That will be a very busy newsletter. But yeah, that's what we got in Amazumo. So why don't we get back to Pro Sumo?
And in Pro Sumo, we had a Yusho winner that was very big on the amateur sumo circuit and
dang, I should have had a better segue there.
In general. That was the segue. I did the segue because I'm the professional.
I know, but like I'm the amateur sumo guy. That's oh man, I had my shot.
Are you now? I'm pretty sure I'm the amateur sumo guy now.
Is that how easy it is to take that title? Because I could totally win it back by the end of the episode then.
Probably, yeah.
Like the GSB
go
belt.
for it.
He can be one.
Onosato! Homosubi Onosato in his 3rd career Makuuchi Basho. Doesn't sound as impressive right after Takeru Fuji won in his Makuuchi debut, but trust me, that's still very impressive. So yeah, he went 12-3, his best record in the top division after back-to-back 11-win Bashos to start his career. Obviously, his first career Yusho, rounding out the other award winners in the top division. The Jun Yusho winners were Ozeki Kotozakura and Maegashira 1 Daisho, both having 11-4 records, both of them getting their 3rd Jun Yushos in this Basho. And then for special prizes, the Gino Show Technique Prize goes, shockingly, to Onosato, his 2nd career Gino Show and his 4th special prize overall. And the Shukun Show Outstanding Performance Prize goes to, once again, Onosato, his 1st career Outstanding Performance Prize, his 5th special prize overall. Need I remind you, he's competed in 3 Basho. And the Kanto Show Fighting Spirit Prize goes to Maegashira 14 Oshoma in his Makuuchi debut, getting 10 wins. So this is his 1st career special prize. I don't think we're going to talk about Oshoma anywhere else. Let's just stop and talk about Oshoma. What were your guys' thoughts on his Makuuchi debut, getting to 10 wins in his debut?
Solid.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the times you get somebody new that comes up that's like weird or different in some way. Oshoma's just kind of like stock sumo wrestler, but like pretty good. It seems like, there's nothing wildly out of the ordinary, but yeah, obviously getting 10 wins in your debut, very promising. So excited to see where he goes from here. But yeah, but at the same time, also not super memorable compared to like, some of the more recent hot prospect debuts that we've had.
Yeah, he did find himself in the middle of the Yusho race, tied for the lead on day 12 at 9-3, where he immediately got vaulted up to face Sekiwake Wakamotoharu on day 13 and Ozeki Hoshoryu on day 14, where he was quickly reminded, yeah, you're the Makuuchi debutante here. You're not taking this Yusho. So knocked him out of the Yusho race there. But yeah, very impressive for him. This isn't the kind of, like, he's 27 years old, so like he can be solid, but he's not the kind of guy where I'm thinking he's going to be Onosato. Like that kind of
Onosato.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, he spent like 2 straight years in Juryo, and like,
yeah,
which perfectly respectable. Taking 2 years to get through Juryo, but like Onosato, Takeru Fuji, they didn't have
time for that.
He's a regular prospect, not a 2024 prospect.
Yeah,
but still respectable. 10-5.
Absolutely, exactly.
All right, let's get back to the man of the hour, Mr. Onosato. So like I said, this is our second consecutive fairly historic Yusho winner. So Onosato saw Takeru Fuji's 10 bashos from the start of his sumo career to win a Yusho. Says, no problem. Let's do it in 7. So that's the new record. Like that's the new record. It took 1 basho for the 10 to go away, and now it's 7. But I do think you got to think of them in different categories, because Onosato had the Makushita Tsukedashi. He had a head start ahead of Takeru Fuji, who started all the way at the bottom. So when we're looking at this, I think you look at 2 different groups. Onosato breaks Wajima's previous record for the fastest Yusho for a Makushita Tsukedashi Rikshi, which was 14 bashos. He cut that in half to 7. Former Yokozuna Wajima, by the way. We're going to be saying that word Yokozuna when we're doing these comparisons for what Onosato has done, similar to what we did for Takeru Fuji.
Yeah. We talked about like the Wayne Gretzky amount of records that Takeru Fuji set, and like, well, here we go again.
Well, all right.
Yep. And Takeru Fuji's 10 wins or 10 bashos to get his first top division win would be compared more to Asashoryu and Takanohana's 24 bashos is what it was at before the 10.
Yeah.
So been seeing absolutely staggering stuff from these rookies to the top division.
No, but they're also rikshi, so you had that right too.
Yeah, yep.
Nailed it.
What else has Onosato achieved in his first 3 basho as a Makuuchi Rikshi? He has 34 wins in his first 3 top division bashos. He started off with an Ozeki run. Yeah, he started off with an Ozeki run.
Jeez.
And this is tied for the all-time record for most wins in your first 3 top division bashos with Yokozuna Terukuni. And Yokozuna Terukuni, I believe, had 10 consecutive 11-win tournaments to start his top division career.
Wow.
But he didn't win a Yusho in that time because of a fella named Futabayama. He was in that same era in the late 30s, early 40s.
The guy with the still standing record for most consecutive top division match wins.
Yep.
Like 68, 69, something like that.
Yep. And Onosato is just the 8th Rikshi ever to pull off at least 30 wins in a Rikshi's first 3 top division basho, so averaging 10 wins per basho to start your career. That list includes 3 Yokozuna, including Terukuni, Taiho, and Hakuho.
Ooh,
so not only Yokozuna, the top 2 Yusho winning Yokozuna of all time.
I think Chiyono Fuji's between Taiho and Hakuho, right?
I think Chiyono Fuji finished at 31, did he not? And Taiho has 32. Look that up while we're moving on.
Well, I was about to make a separate point here real quick.
Okay.
The comment about the Ozeki run. I do know that we have a handful of people that are new to the sport, this particular basho. So in order to get the rank of Ozeki, generally the guidelines that are laid out are you want to get 33 wins over the course of 3 basho. But you kind of have to start already up in the top of the top division before you can like officially make that run.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yes, Onosato did get a bunch of wins in his first 3 basho here, but he did those first two Basho, a lot of that was like lower down. So like debatably, I don't know if he were to go like 15-0 next time, maybe that would send him straight to Ozeki. But more likely this 12 wins was probably the first of three, or the first of a potential
step, I would say.
three Basho run to get an Ozeki rank. To get that Ozeki rank, you gotta get a lot of wins over 3 straight Basho while you are ranked very near the top. So yeah, that's something we'll certainly be keeping an eye on as Onosato. And I don't know, are there any other open Ozeki runs off the top of our heads right now?
Daisho, I thought.
Daisho's could have it start
That's
at
potential.
Maegashira 1 if he's like stellar
If he
for
blows
the
it out of the
second
water.
2. Abi could starting one with a 10 and 5 at Sekiwake. It counts. We don't like Abi, but it still counts.
10 is very much a respectable start of a Ozeki run, but I mean, we've seen him have a couple that were like close. So like, or not close, but like, I don't know. I don't, we'll talk about Abi later, I'm sure.
Yeah. So it looks like the lowest ranked starting position for an Ozeki run ever was Maegashira 4 West by Kaiketsu. Back in the 70s, he had a 14-1 and then an 11-4 at Sekiwake and another 11-4.
Nice find so quickly, by the way.
Yeah, well done.
I'm getting better at this Sumo DB queries.
Someone else on Ozeki run. We have Kirishima, who's going to be the Ozeki Waki.
That's right.
Fair. Very fair.
He had 2 boss shows in a row with losing records, so he's
So
back
that means
down
you
to
get
Sekiwake.
booted out of Ozeki. Yep.
Yes.
Yep, that's
And
right.
you have to get 10 wins in order to get that rank back. You have to get double digit.
I'm sure that will be a focus of our preview episode for the next Basho, talking about how what we think his odds are going to be.
Yep. But bringing it back around to Onosato, to Jake's point, could his Maegashira 5 record count as the start of his Ozeki run? Highly doubtful. Could his Yusho at Komosubi? Absolutely.
Yes.
He will be up in Sekiwake if he puts together. He's got 12. He needs 21 more. So if he puts together 10 and 11, I would be hard pressed to think that he wouldn't be Ozeki by the time that November rolls around.
Right.
So that's still a couple Basho away. He's shown that he can absolutely hang at the top and do it, but he still has to do it. A couple other notes on Onosato and just his... Oh, Flair, you got another note?
Yeah, I was just going to add to that point is I have a feeling like sometimes like I feel like the YDC, they sometimes feel like they feel like they can wait a while on some people if they feel like they're gonna actually like they're the real deal and they're gonna get there eventually. I feel so if they have that iffy record at Maegashira 5, that's kind of on the border. Like so I feel in this case the fact that he seems so good and he's still very very young, I don't think they're gonna try to fast track him up unless he gets like that 15-0 essentially Yusho.
I don't think there's any real reason to think that his Maegashira 5 will count as part of his Ozeki run. Yeah,
I have a feeling they're going to show restraint with that and like hold off, even if.
I also don't think there's any real issue with that because I, at this point, very much trust him to continue doing very well. So even if it takes one more Basho than we would like it to take, he'll be at Ozeki soon enough.
He'll be fine. He's fine. He's fine.
He's doing all right.
Just a couple more notes on Onosato. Like we mentioned, 5 special prizes in his first 3 Basho is the most ever. Fairly positive. That's a little bit harder to Sumo DB query, but I'm fairly positive 5 special prizes in your first 3 Basho. Most ever. The previous most, there were 3 that had 3 over their first 3 Basho, including Takeru Fuji, who just got all 3 last time.
That does count. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And if he gets a special prize in the next Basho, I'm pretty sure starting your top division career with 4 consecutive Bashos with a special prize would also be a record because there is somebody that did get 1 in their first 3 tournaments. And also, just another note, 10th Komosubi Yusho ever, the first in 6 years since Takakeisho's first Yusho. Yeah, I did a quick look. Sekiwake had 34 Yusho, Maegashira have 37 Yusho, and you got Ozeki with over 100, and Yokozuna with over 300.
I guess that makes sense. It's kind of like there's very few 15-0 Yushos in Juryo, because if you're that good, you're not going to stay at that rank.
Yeah.
So like if you're good enough to win a Yusho, you're unlikely to be at Komosubi for very long, if ever.
Yep. Normally you make that jump up to Sekiwake or something.
Or a prospect that's on, that's got a rocket strapped to their back going straight to the top, like Onosato here. Just the way the bonds case shook out is why he even ended up at Komosubi. If the math was different, he could have ended up somewhere else. But yeah, it's a weird tightrope to land on Komosubi while still having the potential to win a Basho. That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jake, how the hell is Onosato this good already?
I see. You're gonna go to the amateur sumo guy on the podcast. I've decided I've reclaimed that title to ask how is the guy who is one of the most successful amateur sumo wrestlers of all time this good already when he goes into the pros? I have no idea how that could happen. Amateur sumo, I mean, it's not pro sumo, so I don't know. You can't put much stock in that, I guess, right? No, of course, his years in amateur sumo at the like top level in the whole world, like there's a reason that Makushita Tsukidashi system exists, where instead of starting at the bottom of the ranks, he started like most of the way up. And that reason is if you're that successful in amateur sumo, you know what you're doing. And Onosato, he knew what he was doing. He came into this like, had he gone straight to pro sumo, he might have joined at like, I don't know, 16 or something like that. But instead he joined at 21, 22. Not sure exactly when his birthday is, but he had spent his entire teens kicking a ton of ass at sumo. So like he already very much knew exactly what he was doing. And it's just most guys in the past that have that much potential go straight into pro sumo. So we see guys like Hakuho that do start young, and by the time they get to Onosato's age, they are all the way up there already. It's just weird to see somebody that is that new to pro sumo, even if they're not new to sumo itself. So yeah, very, very cool situation. Very fun to see. And as a fan of amateur sumo, extremely validating to see an amateur sumo alumnus do this well in pro sumo.
Yeah, so it looks like Onosato, he was Nakamura in his university days, because that's his name.
Because that is his name. Yep.
Yes, isn't it? He won 13 titles in university, which is the greatest number of amateur titles won by a wrestler, and 5 of those tournaments were ones that counted towards Makushita Tsukidashi status.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he was far and away the greatest amateur rikishi to compete, especially as long as he did and not join sumo any sooner. I mean, it's not like this is an overwhelming shock, as much stock as you'd want to put in the opinion of John Gunning, but I know he, like, before Onosato even entered Grand Sumo, is like, this guy could easily be a Yokozuna.
Yeah. And as much as it pains us to admit that he's right, it sure looks like John Gunning was right on that prediction.
I mean, broken clock, right, twice a day, even a blind squirrel.
He says that about every prospect. Eventually, one of them's going to be Yokozuna,
stick.
Yeah.
All right, so Mac, I have a little bit different question for you. So we've had very historic Yusho winners the past 2 times. Brand new to the top division, Takeru Fuji wins the Yusho in a little bit weakened top field without the Yokozuna. Then this time we have Onosato in just his 3rd Basho winning the Yusho. Once again, the top guy, the top Yokozuna is out. Is these historic Yusho wins by top division newbies an indictment of our current top-ranked rikishi? Why aren't our Ozeki stepping up and taking these titles when we have these new guys doing it instead?
I think this is very much an indictment. I think we're in trouble at this point. Looking
Question
at
felt a little loaded.
Well, just a little bit there, yes, but you also have to look at what's going on at the top. I mean, yes, Takeru Fuji, I'm going to say this, almost a Takeru Fuji, damn it. At this point, the Yokozuna is hurt. And granted, he stuck around for day 1. Onosato was able to put some dirt on him, but at the same time, he's still hurt. Then you drop down to the next level at the Ozeki. Takekeisho, clearly not firing on all cylinders. Kirishima, good God, I don't know what is going on with him, but he needs to figure his shit out.
Yeah.
Then you've got Kotozakura and Hoshoryu, both guys that have a ton of potential, but just aren't there yet. So, yes, we have a problem at the top. The top is sick. And
Luckily, Onosato's coming to solve that.
exactly what I was going to say. It's like, luckily, the Cure has fastly risen through the ranks and did not injure himself like Takeru Fuji did in his debut wins. So here's hoping that Onosato provides the much needed shot to the upper level that is needed. Or
Everybody find some wood and knock on it right now.
Literally, my desk.
Not injured yet. I was going to say.
Yet. But I'm hopeful. Maybe Onosato is that future Yokozuna that Teruno Fuji's been waiting for, that he can say, oh dear God, thank you, I'm out.
Yeah, hope so.
Yeah, I actually enjoy this question because I was kind of thinking something along these lines, and I think you're entirely right, Yokozuna Mac, that I think injury is the big thing plaguing Ozeki right now, because they're definitely still good, as we saw when Hoshoryu just destroyed Onosato.
Oh, absolutely.
Beautiful throw.
Oh, he was so big, but he was so sideways. It was great.
Yes.
fully airborne.
But no, I'm kind of wondering if we're getting to a stage, if we're getting a slight meta shift at the top, because I'm kind of thinking back to when Hoshoryu and Kirishima kind of came up at that time. Granted, we still had some like big boys like Teruno Fuji and Takakeisho, but everyone else around that time, it was kind of like muscular, like medium-sized guys. We had the Wakamoto Haru, we had the Wakataka Kage at that time, the Daisho. There was someone else in there who was trying to make a lot of waves. It was probably Abi. I
think you got them all.
I think you got
it.
Yeah. So I feel like it was kind of definitely, and Kirishima and Hoshoryu were kind of about the same build and the same doing grapple Yotsu stuff at the same time, except for Daisho, he was like the lone pushing guy. But now we got like Kotozakura came up. He's just like a big solid unit
Classic
of a boy.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Huge dude. Onosato, Atami Fuji's coming up now. It's I feel like we're entering a little bit of a big boy meta. I do feel like it's kind of shifting. And I do think the big reason why Ozeki are kind of falling down are because they're hurt. Like they unfortunately something's gone on with Kirishima at the moment. But I do think we're starting to get a little different body type up at the top and different styles that they bring. And I'm kind of curious if that might not be part of the reason why they're falling off.
So I think the issue is Sumo's just always a big boy meta, and that's why Kirishima and Hoshoryu, they've made it to Ozeki, and that kind of right now seems like their ceiling. And they haven't really kind of, in this time where Teruno Fuji's absent most of the time and they're the top people remaining, why aren't they taking or at least splitting all these titles amongst themselves? And it might just be that they're not big enough yet. And so a guy that finally comes through, Onosato, who has like generational luck to have that body, that skill, that size, like he's lucky to have the body he is, but he also has the skill to go with it. It just allows him to come in and make this huge immediate impact.
Yeah. I think the big thing I say, not necessarily good enough, but it definitely, I think there's like consistency to styles, as we see kind of the mid-boy throwy types. Like think of the Harumo Fuji, of where he's definitely was a top rank Rikishi, but he was definitely more of a kind of a smaller guy who relied more on his speed and like just total like just intensity during his matches to win stuff. And so like with the big boys, like they can just, I feel like they have potential to be a whole lot more solid, consistent, I guess I would say, to kind of just add to that point. But yeah, I think you're right. It might be interesting to see how that changes.
Yeah, I think it maybe the medium boy era was short-lived, but maybe that was the exception rather than the rule. Because I'm trying to I'm just looking through what are some of the previous generation big boys, and there's not a ton of them. There's guys that like Mitaki Yumi, Takayasu were Ozeki for a while, but we don't have a ton of really huge guys like Ichinojo size guys. Like there were some, but there weren't tons, right?
Yeah.
And now it feels like we've got Shonan Naomi doesn't come up as much because he's not quite as talented as these other newcomers, but he's still immense. He's 6'5", 6'6", or something like that. But yeah, I think I think you might be onto something. Like Teruno Fuji was like kind of the only full size guy up near the top for a while. Asano Yama is another pretty huge guy, but like he's obviously been plagued with injury since his return from suspension. And yeah, the newcomers all seem to be like, full size, full grown up big boy size.
I like where you said it's the exception rather than the rule, and I think you might be right. Maybe we just had a weird exception of time with all these Ozeki and such, and I'll be curious to see how it stabilizes.
Everything about the past 7 years feels like it's the exception to all of sumo history.
Ever since we've been watching, really, it's like, wait a minute, hold on.
Ever since Hakuho kind of stopped being the Daiokozuna and there wasn't a Daiokozuna to immediately fill that role, we've kind of felt it's kind of been a little aimless compared to prior eras.
Yeah. Teruno Fuji filled that role for 1 year until his injuries caught back up with him.
Yeah. And I think like we talk about like the meta of sumo, like, because that's just kind of a term we use for like other sports a lot too, right? Yeah. But like in sumo, it's really just the specific individuals. And I think it's less that like there was some new type of sumo that was developed such that Kirishima and Hoshoryu could succeed more than otherwise. I think it's just we didn't have top size super heavyweight style guys that were also talented at that top level for a little while, and now we're kind of getting them back to a more normal state.
Yeah, I think that might be one thing why, or Teruno Fuji, he was a complete package of being a big boy and just also just really skilled and strong. It's but I think these are definitely very talented, like Rikishi. I think the ones that could still figure out how to beat these top guys as time goes on, that's gonna be the true show of like just skill and like these are the top guys right now. Like Hoshoryu is like, I'm not counting that guy out at all yet.
Yeah, and that, like there's a reason that every other combat sport has weight classes, because like duh, if two guys are equally skilled but one guy is way bigger,
the bigger guy is usually gonna win.
That's why sumo wrestlers are huge, right? Of course. So it's very interesting though.
Yeah, I do think the addition of some young, some fresh blood, fresh big boys to come up, I think that is gonna kind of give some people some the stuff to kind of train against and probably get better. And I'll be curious to see how it stabilizes. So
big boy should be like the free space on the GSB bingo card, I think.
Yeah.
I'm using it a lot this time. Big boy.
I
feel like we've all said it way too many times already for being this early into a podcast.
Indeed.
I love it.
So let's move on from Onosato specific conversation. Let's just talk about like the end of the Yusho race. So Fleric, sitting at day 11, what were you thinking when Shonan Naomi was our sole leader with 4 days left in the tournament?
I was not worried at all. I was still watching Onosato and just Kotozakura, how they were doing. Yeah, I didn't even consider him as someone who was going to win the whole thing. Sorry, Shonan Naomi or whoever. I know Jake knows there was someone who was a big fan of that guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and he did text me on day 11. Yeah. Other bigger Jake, our listener, texted me, and he was, and of course we weren't like that serious, but like maybe
just a little bit, maybe
not 0%, but pretty close to 0%.
And then he lost his last 4 matches.
And then he
exactly.
lost.
Yes. Every single one in the Joy was a loss. So I think I read that one correctly.
I agreed.
I'm not gonna lie. I was starting to panic a little bit. Glad that it
really.
Me panic? Yeah. Weird.
Never.
But you know what? Like we talked about on the midway what's going on with the Sanyaku Rikishi. Like everybody started with a loss except for Onosato on day 1. Everybody was pulling out of the tournament. But after that kind of rocky start, and we still had the issue with a lot of missing Rikishi in the Sanyaku, but all the Sanyaku Rikishi that competed for the entire tournament had 10 wins and were in Yusho contention on day 15. So the Sanyaku did do their job in the end. It might not have been the tippy top highest quality, as we had a 12-3 Yusho, so it's not obviously not the greatest of sumo happening there with letting out a couple of losses, but that's a guy that just competed in his 7th Basho ever, his first Sanyaku Basho. I think we could cut him a little bit of slack. But yeah, so they did their job. They eliminated the Maegashira Yusho contenders that were popping up after day 11 with Shonan in the sole lead. The lower ranked Maegashira went 0-7 against the Sanyaku Rikshi, and very easy wins every single time, days 12 through 14. Another note, we had the possibility at a 4-way playoff going into day 15. So we had Onosato alone in the lead with 11 wins, and then you had Abi, Daisho, Kotozakura, and Hoshoryu all lurking behind. And the way the matchups were set, if Abi beat Onosato on day 14, that would drop Onosato's score to 11-4, raise Abi up to 11-4. Then you had 2 10-5s, Hoshoryu, Kotozakura, facing each other, guaranteeing one of those would, or sorry, 2 10-4s, guaranteeing one of those would become 11-4. 3-way playoff. And then you had Daisho had his own little match because he already fought all these guys before, and if he won his match, he would go to 11-4, which he did. And so going into the Abi and Onosato match, there was a very real possibility of a 4-way playoff for the first time in who knows how long. I have no idea when there's been a 4-way playoff in the top division, but Onosato within 3 seconds easily dispatched Abi and put that all to rest.
Oh yeah.
After a bit of pummeling, I mean,
of course, the drama was short-lived.
Yeah. There was a pummel, but did it do anything to Onosato?
No. He absorbed every shot.
Yeah. So, Jake, I'm curious, what would you have preferred to end this Basho? Did you want it as it was? Onosato 12-3, the lone standing guy at the top winning the Yusho, or did you want to get mired in the muck of an 11-4 4-way playoff for the Yusho?
I think either one would be fun. Either one would be like a memorable thing that we look back on as like a cool thing that happened. I mean, pulling towards a playoff is interesting because like the only time that we had more than 2 guys in a playoff for the entire time that we've been watching was ended in a henka, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that was the worst. So I kind of did want like another 3+ Yusho playoff. That would have been cool. On the other hand, Onosato for all like the amateur sumo connections, for all the, you know, just hyped up prospect kind of reasons. I also wanted that. And I think in the end, I personally was happy with the Onosato Yusho, because having somebody kind of become the dominant guy to look up to is really what this Basho was missing in the first week. Because I know I was very pessimistic and very wet blankety in our midway about how the Basho was going so far. And like by the end of it, we have a dominant, if not Yokozuna level, at least equal to any Ozeki right now level guy. That's just, you know, he cruised through everybody except for Hoshoryu dumping him on his ass, and he picked up 2 other losses, of course, but like
they weren't bad losses. I mean,
they weren't
exactly.
Takayasu before Takayasu got hurt, and he lost to Hira Duumi, and I'm done pretending Hira Duumi is not a very good Rikshi.
Absolutely on my list to bring up later for sure.
Yeah.
But none of his losses were bad, and by the end of it, it was like, yes, this is the guy that we're all chasing now. This is like he's the one, and it's more. It feels back to normal, where sumo is often about like there's the one monster among monsters that everybody's trying to get after, and that feeling returned after a very chaotic, unpredictable, kind of annoying first week for me.
Yeah, I would say that I'm much happier with the 12-3 Onosato Yusho than the 11-4 playoff, because I feel like
who craves playoffs though.
Here's the thing. I think I've learned I want the best for Grand Sumo, and it sounds like everybody is sad when there's an 11-4 Yusho, no matter the circumstances. Like all the people involved in Grand Sumo that aren't the fans, they're just, oh god, 11-4 was our Yusho. Like, oh my god, everybody sucks so much. And also, if there was an 11-4 playoff, Abi would have been involved, and I would be lying if I was not panicking about the possibility of a second Abi show.
That's a good point.
Fair enough.
So if not just to
But-
keep Abi out of it, then I did not want the 11th
But Ryan-
playoff.
But Ryan, he would have, like, in this hypothetical situation, he would have pulled through that playoff and able to win it in the end, no matter what kind of shenanigans Abi had. Let's think Abi hankered like twice against him or something, just once, and he read it just like a beast and like put him on his ass. What then?
No. I prefer the 12-3 U show over that. My heart didn't need to worry about an Abi U show.
Cool.
There was also the. Sorry, go ahead, Flair.
Can we take a second to just like on the actual winning, like just the expression on his face in the later man tiers?
Who cares about Ono
And his-
Sato's face? Did you see his dad's face? Oh my
Yes!
god!
and his
Oh my
dad-
gosh, that was amazing.
That was great cutting by the producer, like where he's like, this is stoic Onosato face.
Oh, yeah.
He had the moment like right when it happened, you can like almost relief and just kind of letting the moment wash over him. And then like it cut to his dad. He was just going, "Wah!"
You know that the producer was like, "Get his dad,
Get a
get his
shot, get a
dad.
shot,
We're
get
gonna
a
switch.
shot."
If he wins, we're switching to his dad. Get
Yeah.
ready."
That's sports
Okay.
producing 101.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, but still.
Yeah,
But they were like, boom, all right, Onosato, get his immediate reaction, and then boom, and then we come back. Yeah.
back to the
Beautiful.
stoic face, and then back to the dad who's showing how he's feeling inside. And then I saw like the tunnel shot of where he was just kind of like,
Oh yeah,
holding
no, that was
his
great when he
hands,
was just crying. I also love the shot when they go back to the watch party and everybody just went nuts.
Yeah, I didn't see that one, but I've seen that I love it. Just it had everything in this show as well when he won. It's just like all that emotion, and like he kept his face too until like for the most part until he got to the tunnel too. He's going places. Onosato, he's going places.
He did have a bit like you say stoic, and like I mostly for like compared to regular people, yes, very stoic. But for a sumo wrestler, he was pumped. He was super like in that immediate like 3 seconds afterwards, he was very emotionally charged.
Like Flarek said, I think it was more just like a sense of relief than like, yeah, I did it. It was more just like, oh, thank God I won. Okay, good.
Interesting.
Oh,
I
God.
definitely think it was the other way around. I definitely saw enthusiasm.
Maybe it was just dreading Abi in the playoffs. Oh God, damn, I don't want.
What was he gonna do? What was he gonna do? What was he gonna do? Oh, I read it right.
It's like, oh, thank God he didn't handcuff. Easy win. Okay, good.
Oh yeah, he was facing Abi. Yeah, he didn't want to do it a second time.
GG easy.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, Mac, we had our 2 Ozeki that were able to finish this Basho. Kotozakura 11-4, Hoshoryu 10-5. What, if anything, did we learn about our 2 Ozeki who, once again, when they're the top 2 guys in sumo with the Yokozuna absent, once again could not stop the newcomer?
I think we learned a couple things. One, Hoshoryu has Onosato's number, as we clearly saw him saying, okay, and this is how we throw you.
I think
and
it's been the
sideways and
same every
airborne."
single time they've matched up. It's
Literally
beautiful.
the same move. So this is what I'm going to do, just so you know. This is going to happen, and you still can't defend against it. So, okay, bye, you lose. And then with Kotozakura, it's like, I was expecting the same thing again, but this time, Onosato actually beat him. Like, all right, not bad. So then I think, does that make... Oh, go ahead.
Literally Shitate Nage win for
Yeah, I
Hoshoryu
was gonna
every
say.
time over Onosato. So
I
yeah,
figured it was.
literally
I was
the
like,
same
I
exact
swear it's the
throw
same
every
move.
time.
And Hoshoryu uses Shitate Nage a lot more often than normal, but even still, that move is like a 5 or 10% of all matches ever. Like kind of that's an uncommon way to win, and especially uncommon against the same guy who's extraordinarily large and thus less likely or less easy to throw bodily. That's
he
that's
does it
wild.
with
I did not know it was
ease.
the exact same one
Yeah.
each time.
Surely he won't expect Shiitake Nage, whoever it is, a
Yeah,
third
Shiitake Nage.
time.
Yeah, next Basho he'll be like, I bet he won't go for the undergrip.
He won't do it a fourth time,
It's
will
too
he?
obvious.
And
It's
That'd be
too obvious.
absurd.
But back to the 2 Ozeki. So at this point, I'm thinking, all right, Hoshoryu, yeah, not bad, doing good. And then we get to the final match of the day when Kotozakura is like, nah, I'm better at this point. So initially I thought, Hoshoryu, yeah, okay, you got the edge in this. But then Kotozakura beats him. I'm like, all right, you both are the same. At this point, it's like you're just both the same at this point. And I don't know what I give Kotozakura the edge because he's still new, or at least cut him a little more slack because he's still new to the rank, still up and coming, still trying to figure everything out. Hoshoryu, honey, baby, sweetie, we got to do something else here. You should be getting higher than this.
Yeah, because I feel like you look at Kotozakura's losses, and he's the Ozeki, so he should be winning all these, but he lost to Daisho, who went 11-4. He lost to Onosato, who went 12-3 and is going to surpass everybody on the Sponske soon enough.
Just destroy everyone.
He lost to Takeyasu, who was, I mean, he pulled out midway through the Basho, but he looked great while he was competing.
Good.
And he lost to Abi, who finished with 10-5. So it's not like Kotozakura really had any bad losses when you look at them individually. All of these guys are top tier guys. But then you look at Hoshoryu, and he has losses to Atami Fuji, who's 7-8. He had the worst for Hoshoryu. He lost to Oho. He needs to get over this mental block he has against Oho, because a 2-4 record career against Oho when you're an Ozeki is deplorable. It is inexcusable. He needs to do something.
Okay, Ryan, your hatred aside.
My hatred aside, I'm absolutely correct about that.
Okay, fine.
And then he also lost to Takeyasu and Kotozakura. So, like,
okay.
But yeah, so some defendable, like it's okay. Once again, you're the Ozeki. Technically, you should be winning all these, but they're human. They're not going to. But he needs to clean up the Ohos, the Atami Fujis, the past Bashos, the Tobizarus, Midori Fujis. Yeah. He needs to clean that up. If
I like
he wants
that. You got to clean up the Ohos.
Take out that garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think...
I don't know, man.
yeah, real. This is the expert analysis people come for.
All right, thank you for watching.
No, to me, Hoshoryu is still like, I don't know. He's 25. I guess he's older than I thought he was, but he's still very much like in the beginning of where his prime should be.
Yeah,
I'm certainly not like worried that this is a ceiling, but I agree it's frustrating to see him not continue to improve.
Yes. I'm not saying that at all either.
No, I wasn't implying you were, but like, it's frustrating in the moment, but like it's frustrating in the moment because I feel like we're hitting a plateau that will eventually be surpassed, but it's still frustrating while we're here.
It's there.
That's how that's how I'm feeling it's going to go.
He's got flashes of it. You can just see he's got it, especially with Onosato. He's got the right idea behind it. He's got the natural instinct to figure out his opponents. It's just he can't put it together every single time. And that's what's frustrating. It's like you have the bag of tricks ready to go. What is going on?
I have a theory that in my head, like, he just reminds me so much of Haruma Fuji, and I think he's just always going to be like this, unfortunately. I think he's going to have high highs. He's going to have high highs, but he's going to drop weird matches all the time.
Yeah. Haruma Fuji had 9 Yushos. Yokozuna, great Yokozuna, obviously. He went 15-0 back-to-back to become a Yokozuna, had multiple more 14-1 Yushos. But also as a Yokozuna, he went 10-5 a lot. He went 9-6 as a Yokozuna. So Haruma Fuji, even as a Yokozuna, still had, obviously always a winning record, but kind of like inconsistent for the tier that he was.
Yeah. He was known as like a Kinboshi machine. He would lose to Maegashira once or twice every now and then, just randomly.
Yeah. And leading up to Haruma Fuji's back-to-back 15-0 records, like, I think he came in with 2 Yushos, Hoshoryu sitting with 1 at this point, but he was like 8-7, 9-6, and then back, boom, 15-0, 15-0.
Yeah, exactly. Not like steadily getting better. It was just like when the coin comes up correctly, the right number of times in a row by coincidence eventually. Yeah.
Which is, I think, my view on him. I think if he's going to continue to go with this throw style, like heavy throw style, rather than maybe become a little bit more like a Yotsu pushing style. I'm trying to think, like, the ultimate is Hakuho, right? Like, he knew how to throw, he knew how to like just be big and be able to push people out and just do random stuff.
He was real good at the sumo.
Yeah,
turns out.
I feel like Hoshoryu is leaning a little bit more into the throwing side than I've seen from like maybe the Hakuho of the people. So I think as long as that happens, I think he's just gonna keep on being like that. And you know what? That's okay. He's gonna have hot moments. He's gonna drop some weird matches and piss off the Ryans of the world. But
Yeah.
I'm okay with his flashy weird sumo.
And if he
Especially
never
when-
goes anywhere from here, he's still a successful wrestler.
Yeah, he's still
yeah,
an
more than
Ozeki.
99% of them.
And Ryan
Especially
hates
when
this.
Hoshoryu is my champ and Oho's my chump, and I'm like, this is an easy 2 points.
Oh, that's
Easy
why
2
this
points
question
for me
is up
that
here.
day.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the real reason.
Come on. It wasn't going to make the difference this Basho, but I could have tied Jake for second,
But you didn't, did you?
But
but I didn't. But I didn't lose, Flerick.
Sumo's dumb.
Oh.
You got
All
us.
Yep, just to round out the Ozekis, Takakeisho, Kadoban for the 9th time in his career, and huge sad face Kirishima will be dropping to Sekiwake, where he will need 10 wins next Basho to regain his Ozeki rank.
I just quickly on Kirishima. I feel like why it's so sad is he's definitely hurt. Like he's not 100% at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of sad to go out this way, but unfortunately Sumo is ruthless. So hopefully he can get the double-digit win next Basho and go back up.
Yeah.
I really hope so, because I feel like he should be up there, and I'm really hoping this isn't just like a lingering injury that turns him into Mitakayumi, like 4 years younger than Mitakayumi was before Mitakayumi'd.
Never
But he
Mitakayumi.
did sure Mitakayumi, didn't he?
He Mitakayumi'd himself right out of the Ozeki rank.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm curious, with the rise of Onosato, I kind of curious. Let's rank our Rikishi, our top 5 Rikishi from 5 to 1, just where we're sitting right now. Because I think it's interesting with who's going to go higher in our rankings, Hoshoryu or Kotozakura. Where do we put Teruno Fuji right now with his injuries? Does Onosato crack like the top 4, the top 3, the top 2? Who fills out the 5 spot? So I'll go ahead and start.
Can I, are we talking like assume everybody's healthy, or are we talking in the sense of like
Thank
who
you.
would be
I
our
think-
top 5 picks for the next Basho if it were to happen
I
right
think
now?
like knowing what we know now, who's your Yusho favorite going into the next
For Nagoya.
Basho?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think for me, number 5, I would say Daisho. I think he is still, especially after this Basho, I think he's still top 5. And then I might, this is too soon. For favorites, because of the injuries, I'm going to put, no, I'll still go Hoshoryu 4, Teruno Fuji. And then my gut's just telling me Kotozakura, Onosato number 1 right now. Like it might be recency bias, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, we did just see those guys be the best. So, like, if we
Well,
were to
yeah.
pick again right now, we would guess they're still the best. Like, that's not.
I
That
feel
doesn't
like
mean
I
that it's a
might-
bad pick.
Yeah, I feel like I might be just like with automatically just jumping Onosato to the top of the list might be premature in that, but God, that's just what I'm feeling in my gut right now.
Teruno Fuji still exists in this world, right?
He
Yes.
does, but his injuries just scare me that he could just as easily pull out next Basho as stay in and win.
All right.
Mhm.
I-
One
I
or
will,
the other.
I will be on the camp of just putting Kotozakura over Onosato, simply because I still think there's some green with Onosato's style of sumo. I think if they go against each other like a best of 5, I think there's a good chance Kotozakura comes up on top.
Mhm.
So, but I don't know. Or I'll be very curious to see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Jake.
I would agree with Flerick. I think Kotozakura, his style is less volatile as well. And I think that as he continues to get better, because he is continuing to get better, I think that his style, more than Onosato and definitely more than Hoshoryu, lends itself to being more likely to come out as that consistent top Yokozuna level guy. But
That's so curious because I feel like Onosato, he looks so solid at times. I guess, what do you think is more inconsistent? For me, it was just some of his losses look to be just very silly things he got himself into. But is there anything
think
else that you're kind of
Good point.
seeing from his style?
I think both of the guys get into that a little bit, but I think like for me, I don't know. To me, I cannot look at Kotozakura and not see Kisanosato. You know, I like it just physically
Good
and
comparison.
especially in his style. I'm certainly not going to claim I came up with that or anything. I know that gets tossed around a lot,
No, but still,
like,
it's a good
but
comparison.
I do think like, yeah, the more I see him wrestle, the more that I think that it's a good one, because he's a grappler in the sense that he'll grab onto you and push you forwards. I mean, Onosato's kind of similar in that regard, but Koto Zakura, when he's not getting tripped up and like getting into a comedy match or something like that, which will happen now and then, he's just straightforward, almost like so good it's almost kind of boring style of just grabbing and walking forward. And grabbing and walking forward is like the main thing you're supposed to do in sumo, right? Like that's like the quintessential stereotypical textbook way you're supposed to win. And I think that he's got that down the best. But I also know that that's, you could say very, very similar things about Onosato. I guess I kind of just trust Koto Zakura more in the moment to be the guy that's more likely to be consistent again next time.
Okay, I think that's my same thoughts too. My feelings.
Yeah.
It's there was something you said that kind of made it interesting. Oh yeah, the very safe style, but it works. I'm sure there's some like old like sumo like nerd fan who just like, oh my god, look at that safe style. That's play.
The tried and true.
You're gonna be very consistent. It's gonna be nice and boring. It reminds me of Kagayaki with how boring it works.
Yeah,
that might not be fair. I think he's more exciting than Kagayaki, but
Are you talking about 11 win Kagayaki down in Jurio? That guy's dynamite.
We're not talking about that.
Look at the way he does it. He just like exactly. He just walks forward. He just like forces them out, always going forward. It's that is some nice boring. I don't know about you guys, but there's some sports I like where it's a safe, consistent style that really gets me going. Like I love this kind of stuff. So like, there's a lot that what you said reminded me of that.
Yeah, and it's the most textbook. Like, if you wanted to show somebody like what is the best way to do sumo, and like all else being equal, exactly what Koto Zakura does. Like just the huge guy that like calmly corrals you and escorts you backwards. Like that's the way to do it.
All right, I think we have a top 5 thing in here. I think I'm gonna quickly
we're
go
gravitating towards just the top 5 results of this Basho, though.
Yeah, kind of.
Well,
with a couple exceptions.
Like I said, I'm gonna break through that a little bit. I still have Terunofuji as my number 1, and I think Koto Zakura over Onosato for the reasons I gave. And below that, Hoshoryu, number 5, I kind of struggle with, but it might be Daisho. I think I love the Daisho love, Ryan. I think I'm gonna just jump on that love thing right there. I think Daisho might be number 5 currently.
Daisho's damn good.
Yeah, he is.
I think I do think right now he's the second best non-Ozeki. I forgot Onosato. We're talking about him in these like high airs, and dude's
Ryan's
just
already elevated him to the level of Ozeki.
I have, dude.
And then
I've already elevated him to like 20 Yusho winner in my head. So
yeah. Your cart is miles ahead of the horse.
Fast forwarding in time.
Yeah.
Other guys that I think should be in the conversation here, Takeru Fuji.
Yep. Thank you, Jake.
If it's purely, I'm going to bring up another name here too, but it's purely health related. Like, I don't know how bad that injury is going to affect him in 2 months from now. And the same thing I would say for Takakeisho. He's shown in the past, of course, he has had trouble coming back from injury in the last year or few, but he also does have a history of completely looking like he's about to die and then coming back healthy and winning a Yusho.
You know, so like, I'm sorry, Daisho. Kirishima's my number 5.
Kirishima, yeah, and yeah, I think Kirishima, he's got to be in the conversation, of course, but like Takakeisho, Kirishima, maybe even Asanoyama. Like if we make the assumption that they come back healthy next time, they're immediately on the list of contenders. So like, who knows? I'm hoping at least 1 or 2 of those guys will be fully healed by next Basho. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's health has always been like the main character in sumo, where it's like, who's actually healthy, and if everybody's healthy, Terunofuji is my favorite, but we know he's not. So if everybody else is healthy, who's my favorite? And if everybody, like that,
just continually knocking it down.
But recently, that seems to have been even further exacerbated. What's up, Flarek?
I just want to say with the health thing, I just want to mention, I think there's at least for Takakeisho, there's enough of a pattern. He's kind of been knocked down a rung in my head. Like I definitely has high highs, but it's just like I think there's enough where I'm starting to kind of believe his downfall a little bit more. and
he
it's
may never recover. Yeah.
yeah, and Kirishima is like, I guess I don't know. I might be counting him out a little bit too early by doing Daisho. I might be with you a little bit on that, Ryan, but I
That
don't
might
know.
be too much recency bias. Like, I
It's
want to
hard,
see,
yeah.
I want to see like 6 months of evidence before I'm making declarative statements, and we've got that from Onosato. We've got 3 Bashos. That's 6 months of evidence. I can do declarative
months.
statements. That's why I think Takeru Fuji might be a little too early, and we're like bounding in like bonus episode territory here, but I don't care.
Oh yeah, we should probably move on. But,
Yep,
but
move
yeah,
on.
we're all on similar pages here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to hear some stuff from Mac though.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Ooh,
Yokozuna
my
Mac.
thoughts.
What are your thoughts on this
Well,
stuff?
if Teruno Fuji is healthy, obviously #1 guy. But and like similar to what Jake was doing, is like, okay, are they healthy? Yes or no? Teruno Fuji still proved even at 80% of his capacity can still take care of business. So for me,
That's
Teruno
the only
Fuji,
reason I hedged is because of the health and dropped him down to 3. Obviously, fully healthy Teruno Fuji, #1 with the bullet.
and that's why I'm thinking like, all right, he comes back, puts together at least one more full healthy Basho before he starts breaking apart again. So I'm like, all right, #1 for him. 2, I would give the edge to Koto Zakura at this point, just because of the potential that he represents and his evolving style. He is learning, he is getting better. So I would say the potential definitely greater with him, followed by Hoshoryu, just because I think if he can put together everything in his bag of tricks to beat everybody, he's gonna be unstoppable. But he still just has to be able to put together. I like what he brings to a
dumb
lot of these
mistakes,
matches. Well, and that's just it. If he doesn't make dumb mistakes, and like you were saying with Haruma Fuji, the coin flips come up in his favor, right time, right place, it can work. So there's the top 3. 4 and 5, a little more difficult because I want to put Takakeisho in there, but I can't deny Onosato. I can't deny Takeru Fuji. I almost said Teruno Fuji. I'm like, no, he's #1 again. But 4 and 5, I'm struggling with. Yeah, I'd say Takakeisho just because he can come back, and then I would honestly say Daisho. I mean, if you're going
Ahead
for
of Ono.
consistency,
Okay.
Yeah,
What?
you had me for a
Okay.
while there.
What? This Onosato erasure is a little ridiculous.
now
He's-
only because
He's won
I don't,
20
Onosato
shows
only
already,
got
man.
I
one
don't
win
want to
more,
give him the
so-
recency bias too bad, but
I think
Do I-
with it happening in Sanyaku, I think we got to recognize.
I
Yeah.
am recognizing it. I'm putting him at 6.
Hey, show. What are we doing?
He's going on an Ozeki run,
No,
possibly.
I won't stand for it.
You had me for
you're
90%
sitting,
of
so
that,
you're
buddy.
doing it right.
90% of the way I was on board here. You had me
I will
convinced.
I will say I think Mac is probably the one. Like Onosato only has like what, 1 Basho up in the Joy with the winning
Yeah.
record right now. How many
I need a
does
little bit
Daisho
more.
have? How many does everyone else have?
I can
It's-
fully expect Daisho to get another 8 or 9 wins next Basho. 100%. No doubt in my mind he can get 8 or 9 wins next Basho.
Or 6 like he did in March.
yeah, fair.
I don't foresee Onosato getting 6 wins in a Basho unless he's injured for a very long time.
He might
Yeah.
be. This is Sumo we're talking about.
This is
We don't
Sumo,
get
man.
We don't get
Alright.
dreams,
All right,
nice slings.
We
move
have
on
been
before I
very
re-
cursed.
Yeah, let's move on before I reach for my screen and strangle Mac.
Hey!
You're not my
I almost laughed when you
Yokozuna.
did that at Celebration as I was trying to get your attention.
I did.
That strangled Yokozuna
almost,
Mac to you.
I did almost fight Mac at Celebration because it was right when my daughter and I got there, and I was pushing the stroller with my daughter. And so
I'd been calling your name over and over through the crowd.
I had tunnel vision and apparently tunnel ears. It's loud. There's a lot of people there. The street's like completely full. I'm pushing a stroller. I'm just looking down, looking for the openings. And all of a sudden I just see a man come in front of the stroller, put his foot on the stroller and stop it. And I'm ready to fight whoever the hell
And
this
I'm
is.
right there with my arms open going, hello.
And then it was Mac. I'm like, oh, hey, Mac.
I just started like, dude.
The only way that story could be more Ryan is if you also hit your head on something.
Also, yes.
Luckily, out in the middle of the street, there's nothing low hanging.
You are always in peril.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're in
That's
peril
very
right
fair.
now.
Yeah, it's unfortunately amazingly true. All right, let's move through some stuff real quick. We got this section of the outline called quick hits. Let's try to make it very quick. Abi, first double-digit winning Basho since his Yusho back in 2022, and his first 10-win Basho in the Sanyaku ever. Wakamoto Haru had pulled out due to injury in the first week, and he returned on day 11, but only managed 1 win in 5 days, finishing with 4 total wins. So he will be dropping out of the Sanyaku ranks. Takayasu returned on day 9, and he returned to face the Ozeki on consecutive days and took care of them both, making people wonder what could have been had he not missed 6 days. But then he did lose 2 in a row towards the end, so that kind of erased that.
Yeah. He was 7-2 in the ring, though.
Yeah, even in that what if scenario, Takayasu choked at the end.
I thought I was safe from that one this time. No, 7-2 in the ring. He was if he was fighting
very good.
If he was fighting that well, he must have been in some serious pain. So yeah, I feel for him.
Okay, real quick question. Who is everybody projecting right now to have a better career? Atami Fuji or Hiradoumi? What's your gut tell you on those two
Atami
guys?
Fuji.
Okay.
Atami Fuji.
Atami Fuji.
I think the size is more likely to be good long term than the 10 out of 10 ferocity that Hiradoumi has been showing.
That is very fair. Atami Fuji's still 21 years old. He's got a lot of time.
He's a youngin'.
He's got a lot of, like, even if it takes him 2 years to get the like fighting style he needs, and if like somehow he wins like a Yusho in 2 years, he'll be just as old as Onosato was, who did it in his 7th Basho. So
counter point in Hirodoumi's favor, Tobizaru. He's been sticking around the Joy for a very long time.
I
He's
think
like
Hiradoumi. I give Hiradoumi a higher ceiling than Tobizaru, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, Tobizaru has quietly been at the top for a very long time.
Yeah.
So,
well, by that you mean like 3 years. But like, I don't know, Takayasu, he's bounced down a handful of times, but he's like 10 years he's been near the top. You know, like there's different levels to it, and I agree Tobizaru's hung on longer than like a small to medium sized guy might be expected to, but I don't know. I feel like small guys are much less likely to be able to hang on to that long term.
Yeah.
And Hiradoumi, only 24 years old. He just turned 24 in April, so he's like a fresh 24. Yeah,
I guess I thought he was older than that.
He's been in sumo since 2016, so he's one of those like 15, 16-year-old starts.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
But yeah, he's done a lot to impress me and most everybody else watching sumo, and he will be rewarded for that, making his Sanyaku debut in Nagoya.
If you want to practice how to do a tachi-ai, Hiradoumi is a great one to watch, because he is like he does like anime style, like one frame he's crouching and then the next frame he's hitting the guy. Like watch his feet, how he's doing it. He is so fast that it's awesome to watch.
Just go fast on your tachi-ais.
Just try going faster.
Yeah,
but no,
be explosive.
he just absolutely sells out 100% intensity. Just like he's like just a little pit bull going absolutely top speed at all times. It's awesome to watch.
Yeah, and Hiradoumi took out Onosato this Basho. I was looking, and Ozeki Takakeisho, Sekiwake Abi, and Sekiwake Wakamoto Haru. So he got 4 Sanyaku wins in this Basho. He did lose to all 3 Ozeki, but you know what? That's fine. They're Ozeki. They're supposed to beat Maegashira too. Ura on day 15 won to manage to stop an 8-match losing streak that followed his 6-0 start to the Basho. He almost had the reverse Nishikigi, but luckily was not quite able to lose that much in a row. And Takeru Fuji, we brought him up quite a bit. He cannot stop making history. He will be the first Rikishi to ever be demoted to Juryo just 1 Basho after winning his Yusho. So another record being broken by Takeru Fuji.
Hooray!
Go, dude.
Is there anybody else that we want to bring up at this time? I mean, we've talked about almost everybody with double-digit wins. Meisei 10-5 at Maegashira 5, Ryuden 10-5 at Maegashira 14. Anybody else?
I just want to mention Toki Hayate, just because he's so fast. Like he like the way he was like fastly circling his opponent impressed me. Like he is a quick guy.
And
Even
he's
though he has
quickly going
6'9".
back to he's quickly going back to Jurio very
I was
fast.
about to say, oof.
Just
Yeah,
one
it's a shame
Basho.
there. It's a shame there, but like he is definitely he had some speed. I appreciate that.
I do like Toki Hayate though.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, is he for sure going back down? Have you already done the math, or is it a maybe? Almost certainly. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, he's going down. I just double checked.
Yeah, he's going down.
Anybody else before we go on to our lower division Yusho winners?
Can't
Real
remember
quick.
if it was. Oh, sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Just real quick with Takara Fuji, not bad. Hey, still holding on. I still think he is raging into the dying of the light here, but hey, not bad.
Started 7-1, ended 2-5, 9-6, baby.
We were absolutely correct on his pretender status as
Yes.
opposed to contender status on the midway. Speaking of the midway, I can't remember if this had happened yet by then, but Kotoeko retiring.
Yes, we did talk about Kotoeko.
We did. Okay,
No,
good.
that hurt.
It's a bummer. I'm gonna miss him, but hopefully more guys like Toki Hayate can bring that small to medium sized boy meta into the top division some more.
All right, lower division Yusho winners. In Juryo, we had Wakataka Kage. This was his first Juryo Yusho. He will appear in the top division for the first time since March of last year. That's not the last time his name was in the Makuuchi Bondscape, but that's the last time he competed in the top division. And he has now won a Yusho in every division he has ever competed in, as he started in Sandanme. So he has a Sandanme, Makushita, Juryo, and Makuuchi Yusho to his name. In Makushita, Fuji Seiyun won his first Makushita Yusho. This is his fourth lower division Yusho, and he will be returning to Juryo after an injury kept him out of 3 consecutive tournaments following his first career Juryo Basho, where he went 9-6, but then didn't show up the next time. In Sandanme, we had Kyoku Kayu winning his first career Sandanme Yusho. This is his third career Basho at 24 years old, so 1 Basho per division for him so far. That will end in Makushita, as you cannot get through Makushita in just 1 Basho. In Jonidan, Asazuma is 25 years old, winning his first Jonidan Yusho. And this is, I don't think I've seen this in like our lower division Yusho winners before. He's been in Jonidan consecutively since January of 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What?
And he bust out finally at 25 years old to pick up his first career Jonidan Yusho that will send him to Sandanme for the first time in his career. And at Jonokuchi, we had Noda. He is 18 years old. This is his first career Yusho and his first career Basho.
If you didn't catch it, do yourself a big old favor and watch the playoff for the Jonokuchi Yusho. That was a hell of a match. And I had a joke here. Noda, the guy that he beat, had a very funny name. It was here we go. Sei Hakuho.
Yeah.
Say Hakuho.
Hakuho.
Yeah. So right. So if this was Airplane, I'd be like, the guy's name is Sei Hakuho, and everybody else would reply Hakuho.
Hakuho.
Yeah, exactly. All together now.
Hakuho.
Hakuho.
No, we're done. We already did it. Stop. His name is Sei Hakuho.
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 I appreciate that you all leaned into that and picked it up immediately. I'm done.
Let's take a quick break.
Bye.
We've lost the thread. We don't know how to close it out.
If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube.
Welcome back. We're going to start off our second segment with the GSB belt, which actually has a couple cool developments. So the third iteration of our winner's belt, I try to do a preview of the rules of this every preview episode. so I won't spend too much time on how it works. But let's see, since we checked in at the midway, let's see, Ryutsu Kasa had the belt at the midway. He was then beaten by Inami, who was then beaten by Kyoku Kayu, who we just mentioned was the Sandanme Yusho winner.
But wait,
Now-
wasn't the belt in Jonidan?
Why, thank you for pointing that out, Ryan.
Right, you are, Ryan.
Did I leave a note to ask me about that? Why did you know to do that? Oh, I did kind of leave a note.
You,
on
you,
that.
asked, you led in with it.
No,
It's a
so,
jumping division.
Yeah, so the belt did jump an extra division because, like, sometimes there aren't 7 full matches for everybody to face somebody else within their own division. So Inami, even though he was in Jonidan, he was in the Yusho race for the Jonidan division. They bumped him up to face Kyoku Kayu in Sandanme, and then Kyoku Kayu winning that Yusho in Sandanme, the belt traveled up a division during the tournament, and now it'll probably travel up a whole nother division into Makushita as Kyoku Kayu gets promoted. So this belt might only spend 2 matches ever in the Sandanme division. It's
So
kinda
we have
interesting.
the slowest belt previously, and now we potentially might have the fastest belt.
It's well on its way, but it's
I'm
far
knocking on
from
wood. I'm
hitting
knocking on wood.
It's
Well-
far from hitting the cursed section. It gets cursed in the Makushita to Juryo jump.
The previous belt also completely just skipped Jonidan.
Oh, crap.
Did it now?
Yeah, because it obviously started in Jonokuchi, and whoever was holding it in Jonokuchi lost to the Yusho winner in Jonidan, who immediately brought it up to Sandanme.
You're right. So yeah,
Why do I remember that?
That is a messed up thing for you to remember. You got to get your priorities right. So at the midway, we talked about how we for the loser's belt, we had to ignore a match because Kirishima went Kyujo, and if you pretend that match didn't happen, everything went okay. The belt started on Terano Fuji at the beginning of the March tournament, and by the end of the March tournament was on Kotonowaka. So it went from Yokozuna all the way down to Ozeki.
To Ozeki.
And this time it took a treacherous route that went through Atami Fuji multiple times, Daisho, Oho, back to Wakamoto Haru. So it went,
down a full
to
rank
Sekiwake.
again.
So at this rate, if we do keep this belt going, it'll be down in Juryo in 3 years.
Oh,
Yes,
geez.
just
Because
about.
we have 18 ranks left to go through. Komosubi, Maegashira 1 through 17.
I say we retire it as soon as it gets out of Makuuchi.
If it becomes a pain, yes, we can absolutely pull the plug on this bad boy anytime we want.
There we go.
So yeah, weird
Wakamoto Haru
situation.
has it, right?
Wakamoto
Yes.
Haru will have it, so he will bring it a ways down as he
Yeah.
gets demoted. So, yeah, but who knows? It'll work its way back up to Komosubi and continue the pattern somehow, won't it?
Yep.
As is tradition.
Okay, everybody that got 20 points in our Champ-Chump predictions, point and laugh at Fleric.
That's me, right?
This direction for me.
No, Fleric. Why are you laughing, my friend?
Because it is actually pretty comical how bad it was. It's pretty awful.
Well,
I'll
he's
allow
got
it.
a point.
But you know who wasn't laughing though? Yokozuna Mac. Oh my goodness.
Well,
Yeah.
nah.
He's got that Hinkaku. Us not being Yokozunas, we don't know what that's like.
Oh, yeah.
But Max
There you
got
go.
that Hinkaku.
I thought you were
I
going to
would
do
not
that
laugh.
like, everybody who didn't lose, please raise your hand. Not so fast, Fleric.
But wait.
That's where you were going with that one.
Next time.
No, it was a rough time for me. Kirishima was the horse I tried to put my stuff onto as my pack horse. The hitch on there was some kind
As
of
the common phrase goes,
as the
He
common
was the
phrase
horse
goes,
I tried to put my pack stuff onto. That's
hitch
pack
my
horse.
horse
Hitch
to,
your
or
wagon to.
wagon to. That's the one I was looking towards.
Yes.
Yeah, Kirishima is the horse I tried to hitch my wagon to.
Point
As the
is the
common
guy's a
phrase
horse.
goes. And so he
He's a horse.
and unfortunately, as we know, he did not do all that well. And then but the point is, like, with our rule set, we had to pick someone with the same record or worse. So I had only 2 options of Mitoryu and Tomokaze, and they were just having a terrible time too. I picked
Mhm.
Mitoryu, and then he pulled out too. But Tomokaze stuck it to the end. He stuck it till the end, getting no wins for my champ. So
Fleric
That kind of
finished with
did me
2
completely.
champ points. That might be a record. I need to
That
look
might
that up
actually be a
closer.
record.
Let
Yeah.
me look that up.
So
Keep
it was
talking.
sad. It was It was. All I have to say is it was a sad time. Gonoyama He did the honorable thing of getting me 9 losses and 9 points. He did all right, just okay.
You were
But
double
not-
digits at least.
Yeah, double digits at well, I see 9 at least on the score.
No,
thing. Maybe Ryan
total.
did-
Your total score was at least double digits. It didn't end in single digits.
That's true. It could have been worse, but
It
it
could
was
have been worse.
I was definitely doomed this entire time. It was sad, and I blame Kirishima. And then Mitoryu, he could have got some wins. He could have pulled me out of this to maybe pick someone different than Tomokaze.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mitoryu, what the hell?
To put that in perspective, Mac got 31, I got
Mhm.
25, Ryan got 21, and then Flerk's down there at 11.
11.
Like it was rough. Sorry, buddy.
It got to the point where I'm like, I can't say anything because it's like it's just mean at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to either. I'm like, oh, this.
It
is
was fun to watch
bad.
though.
Yeah.
I didn't lose this time finally.
You're right. You should
I was about to
feel some
say.
pity, feel sadness, and so when it comes around, that I get 2 champ picks during the next Basho.
Oh, two
That is the
champ
only
picks.
way to go.
You have
with it. Well,
advantage.
yeah, I just get double points from all these wins, and
Flair
it's gonna
has
be okay.
advantage on champ picks.
Yeah, and if they
Under-
face each other, no matter what, I get an extra point.
Under our current rules, 2 points for a champ is the lowest score. The previous worst was 4 for a Mitaki Yumi pick one time
Oh,
for
that sounds
Jake,
like me. Yeah.
where he had to transfer off to somebody else, and then a 4 for Flarek when he chose Shodai one time. It looks like
Shodai.
back when we first started doing Champ-Chump, we just didn't allow you to switch off your champ if they pulled out. Which so like there was a 1 point Hakuho champ one time because he pulled out, and a 0 point Takayasu champ one time. So those shouldn't have counted.
No.
I got one more fun one.
Whoops.
Flarek just hit his 5th straight Basho of either winning or losing.
Oh wow.
So he has had to either punish someone or be punished almost an entire
5.
year straight.
Wow.
Oh,
5
that makes me
times in
sad.
a row.
Good streak.
The 2 win streak was pretty good though. I'll take that. I was feeling pretty hot.
God, I am by
Oh.
far the worst of us at this.
I get wrecked, Jake. What the
Yeah,
hell?
I'm
It's
really
all
bad.
point and laugh at Jake. I
I have the fewest
ah.
wins and the second most
There it is.
losses since we started doing
Ah.
this.
love
Oh,
it.
jeez. Speaking of my losses,
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Jake's got a punishment for losing the Haru Basho.
yep.
What was it,
So,
Jake?
I got to do spoken word poetry about sumo wrestling, and I don't think I got the vibe of spoken word poetry. So like I'm swinging for the fences, but I have no idea if I hit the ball here. So I'm gonna try it. But I did find some smooth jazz to put in the background to like,
Ooh, all
really
right.
sell it.
Points.
Okay, here goes.
Oh, we're doing it live. It's not pre-recorded.
No, I did not pre-record it.
Ooh, the balls!
I have no
love
idea.
it.
Again, I'm swinging. I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but I'm swinging. All right, here we go. Ooh, that's nice jazz, isn't it? It's coming through. All right. Here. Oh, should I take the microphone off the stand and everything?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Dim the lights.
Nah, it's too far away. I gotta get up.
Okay.
I see you, sumo wrestler, all alone in the ring. No friends, no stablemates, no coach. I see you there on your own, going solo, in your lonely solitude, alone. Nobody else is there. Except your opponent, I suppose. But it's like just the two of you. And also the Gyoji is there. Metaphorically, you are alone. And I see you, sumo wrestler. You are reluctantly crouched at the starting line. Engines pumping at the... Whoops, that's cake lyrics. Let me get... Here we go. Your fists touch down, and you charge. I can feel your energy, sumo wrestler. You're like a 9-volt battery, and my brain is putting its tongue on you. It does not matter who this man is across from you in the ring. At this instant, he is your enemy. Fate has deemed that your paths cross, and you must destroy him with calculated fury. The two of you are like my cats in the hallway at 2 a.m. Slaps, thrusts, trips and throws. inside grips and thudding blows. These are just several of the things you could have done if you did not get henked and face planted into the dirt. As you lay there, I see you, sumo wrestler. There's no dignity in this. There are no trophies for you. There are no flowers, no flashbulbs, no wine. You are haunted by something. Dang it, that's cake again. I keep getting off track here. Okay, sorry. I see you, sumo wrestler. I see you are defeated, beaten, broken, like my toddler after a particularly messy spaghetti dinner. It is time to get yourself up, brush all the crud off your belly, and toddle towards the bath. Defeated, but only for today, sumo wrestler. You'll learn from this. You'll improve. You'll spend so many nights thinking how he did you wrong that you'll grow strong. You'll learn how to get along.
Jake.
Oh, jeez. Is that cake again? Egg
cover,
on
Jake.
my face. This is just plagiarism now. I'm sorry. I mean, well, actually, that line was from I Will Survive, which Cake did do, but that was a cover of Diana Ross, so I don't know if that counts as Cake. I like the Cake version more. Like particularly the bass line that they did was
Jake.
original.
Jake.
Sorry. Okay. Anyways, no, wait, Diana Ross, that was a cover too. No, I like the Cake version more, but like I said, Gloria Gaynor originally wrote I Will Survive. That was like in the 70s. Yeah, Cake and Diana Ross both covered it in the 90s. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably why I got them confused. Shantae Savage also covered it in the 90s. But it was like a slower R&B version. I don't know. I like all three, or I guess all four versions, but like Shantae Savage, that one was like more, it was different from the other versions that got popular. It's not as upbeat. Like the tone of the music kind of fits the subject matter of the song better.
Can I
but
take
like,
back my snaps?
I like to imagine Jake's just sitting up on some.
Oh wait, no, sorry. I got to finish the poem.
Oh God.
Yes.
But yeah, like I see you, sumo wrestler. Good job or whatever. Yeah, that was the end. Sorry, I got off track there a little bit.
I
Should we
always
just
go
like
in the
leave the
ring-
jazz going?
Snaps all around. Yeah.
Yes.
Snaps.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
going
take
to. It's
back
probably
my-
going to screw with my editing.
Oh. The only thing that I can think of, and it's the most hilarious thing to me now, is a sumo wrestler gets like thrown down into the dirt and just walking down the Hanamichi. Oyakata, I need a bath.
I need a bath.
Oh, that one was fun. Once, honestly, the cake gimmick was the first thing that I had for it.
I don't blame you. That was actually really good.
Everything else came after that.
It just flowed. You went the distance.
And no, there is not any appropriate way to accidentally get into Cake's other biggest hit, Short Skirt, Long Jacket. Zero lyrics make any sense for that one that would apply here. But I tried.
It's more like a pen. You like as I borrow you a pen at the bank teller line or something. There's something there.
How would that come up
Let's-
organically in this, Flurrick?
Let's not.
How would
Let's not
reluctantly
deep
crouch
dive
at
Cake
starting line?
lyrics.
He was reluctantly crouched at. There's literally a starting line. That one made sense.
Yes, that one made sense.
I will stand by that joke.
All points go to Jake in this argument. Let's. Oh, Mac.
Wait, no.
What
We
is
have?
Flarrick's punishment for the next Basho?
Yes,
Hey,
I have.
Flarrick, where's the mystery though? For real,
Oh yeah. Oh,
my
what's that?
guy, my big boy. Where's the mystery at?
Big boy, bingo spot.
Big boy. That propel can't
He's
last
running out of
forever.
propel. He's running out of forever.
He's not even drinking.
Oh.
All right, so what in addition to the mystery will Flarrick have do for the next Basho?
In addition to the mystery that is a mystery in it of itself and might mysteriously work or may not, who knows? Fleric will also be subjected to the dreaded D20 of Doom.
Very.
What? Wow, I appreciate the dedication to the Oh, did you actually spit it out?
Oh yeah,
he did.
God, wait.
Wow, Wow, that was like a 2-minute lead up for just a regular old
Right.
spit
Well,
take. Beautiful
the
work.
payoff.
You're welcome.
And it's
A
also
plus
the perfect.
execution.
It's the perfect punishment because it's the punishment that we do for Fleric.
Cleric will be busy enough with the mystery and cleaning the sticky residue off of his computer screen.
To clarify, the sticky residue is propel drink.
Good clarification. You're
Ryan
right. For the
wants to
people
stress
not
this
watching
point.
this live on YouTube, for the people
Hold
who are
on,
only
and
listening.
One more clarification on my clarification. I assume.
GSB does not
It's
have an
very
official
clear.
position on the stickiness of Flair's computer screens. Legal disclaimer from our legal department.
Yep.
So
Shall we
yes, the
move on?
D20 of Doom.
The D20
Yeah,
of Doom.
yeah.
So that's the
as-
one where we come up with 20 things for Flair that, well, not we. I mean, when I say we, I mean Mac is the one deciding, but inevitably we always pitch
We
in a little bit
always-
to make it as
yeah, we
embarrassing as
crowdsource.
possible.
It's always a collab.
But we'll have 20 things for Fleric to say, and we'll roll a D20 several times throughout the episode next preview to see which things he has to say.
Yeah, I'm dreading this because the one before I think the last time we did this is where we made Jake say a bunch of flat Earth stuff, which was,
It was
very very fun.
super funny, and I hated it a lot. And I'm very
But-
ready to punish you.
And I am very
have
scared
ideas, Matt.
because as soon as like this was mentioned, I think you said some long lines. Oh, I have an idea. I have a theme.
Yes. And I
Yes.
privately texted the theme of the idea to both Ryan and Max. So yes, we will
Yes.
be very prepared for you.
So yeah, I am at least way scared. Yeah,
Lay
go easy
scared.
on me, please. Remember, I only got 2 points for my champ this last time. You should have pity on that. You should be, yeah. You
Or
can't
should
kick
you
me
be
while I'm
mocked
down.
relentlessly for your futile effort to pick a champ?
What mock? No, you guys would never do something like that.
Speaking of mocking, let's talk about some bad predictions random people on the
Nice
internet
segue.
had
Oh,
about this
yeah.
tournament.
There's so many more bad ones than good ones this Basho just because it was so weird.
Yeah. Let's start off with maybe an all-timer from dear friend of the podcast, Wata, who
Wada.
incredibly, genuinely predicted a Mitoryu Yu show. Like, I don't think he was joking in any way, shape, or form. He put that on the line in 3 different ways. He made it his champ selection in our patron Champ-Chump. He did it in his bold predictions. I firmly believe that he thought Mitoryu was going to win this Yu show, which makes me very scared for the well-being of Wata's mental health.
But he did. It wasn't just Mitorio
But-
Yusho prediction. There was more.
Kirishima Jun Yu show, Koto Sakura implosion.
Oh my goodness.
That's an all-timer right there.
Sorry, buddy.
I
Ooh.
value Wata, but I just seriously question his ability to understand sumo on a fundamental level.
And frankly, his judgment.
And yet he didn't lose in the prediction series that we
He
had
came
with
in
our
second to
patrons.
last.
But he didn't lose.
I
He didn't
appreciate that we
lose.
have this relationship that we can mock a fan relentlessly on the show for like 2 minutes.
Once again, I would like to add to that. We assume. We'll see if we hear from Wata again.
Yeah, good point.
We love you, Wada.
We also had other bad predictions. It wasn't just Wada. Lord Hochiyama predicted an Onosato Makekoshi, an Abi Makekoshi, Wakamoto Haru 8-7 or 9-6, and so an almost complete rebuild of the lower Sanyaku for July. Ozeki Yusho in a playoff between Hoshoryu and Koto Sakura.
And that last part was the closest one.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
saying something. Nice effort. Definitely bold stuff. So appreciated.
Yeah. We also had another good friend, Josh Schaff, predicted Koto Sakura Yusho, not too far off, Jun Yusho.
Close,
Not
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
But the Atami Fuji and Takayasu Jun Yusho both finishing with 7 and 8 records. Some more questionable judgment from Beast Monarch and Rebecca Ludwig, with both of them, for some reason, selecting a Roga Yusho.
Huh?
And that's the first time we've mentioned Roga on this episode. He finished 7 and 8
Perhaps
for
even
the
on Grand Sumo Breakdown.
I was about to say, like, have we talked about him before?
Probably
then-
briefly once or twice.
Edward Beloff predicting Asanoyama and Takeru Fuji, 2 Rikishi who did not show up for a single day, will battle for the cup with Asanoyama coming out on top. The Ozekis will be at the front in the beginning, but will get worn down in the end battling each other, which is kind of like the exact
Directly
opposite
yeah.
of what happened this tournament. If there was like a "you owe us a t-shirt" award, I'm pretty sure Edward Beloff would have won that.
Yeah, we'd be getting some shirts from Edward and Wata for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
But
How
we
about some
did
ones
have-
that are like actually okay though?
Yeah, of course. Always with the good predictions is Eggman's asshole. With Mori
I don't know.
Urata wins twice. I have no idea who Mori Urata is. Turns out it's some guy down in Jonidan. But he did win only 2 matches. So for choosing
Gotta
this
call that
random
All right. Gotta call
Jonidan
it out.
Rikishi to win only 2 matches, I assume there's a reason we should know this guy.
Yeah. There's got to be something more to this. It's got to be an
Yeah.
inside joke or something, right?
So fill us in, Eggman's asshole.
Tell us your
Svi-
secrets.
Svi Macklin predicted a first-time Yusho winner, which we absolutely got with Onosato.
Well done.
Q Breezy predicted Teruno Fuji would win 1 at most. He also predicted retire
Good.
before the next Basho. Not quite there yet. We
We'll
don't
see.
know, but still.
Not out
one
of the question though.
he did predict a Ozeki Yusho. Not quite there, but he did also say Onosato and Oshoma special prizes, which were our
All
2
right,
Rikishi
yeah.
that walked
Excellent
away with
picks, yeah.
special prizes. And Teru no Umi predicted a total of maximum 25 wins between Kirishima, Takakeisho, Onosato, and Takeru Fuji combined, and they combined for a total of 13. 1 provided by Kirishima and 12 by Onosato.
But a maximum, hey. Not
That one,
still
that's
within.
got a high boldness factor pre-Basho
Mhm.
though.
Yes.
That's very well done there.
But our t-shirt winner will be this time Sammy Stern, who predicted, as far as I can tell, the only one who predicted an Onosato Yusho, Koto Zakura Jun Yusho, and Hoshoryu and Kirishima with 10 wins apiece. So the only thing he missed out there was the Kirishima portion of that. Otherwise, absolutely spot on by Sammy Stern.
Nailed it.
Well deserving of a t-shirt. So we will get a hold of you on Twitter, get your information so we can send you a free Grand Sumo Breakdown t-shirt. Moving on to the GSB Awards, we have the what the hell was that? Have some goddamn respect for yourself. You're an Ozeki Award. Goes to Kirishima for his horrendous
None other than.
back to. This was before I knew he pulled out and was not going to be an Ozeki in the next Basho, where I really feel bad for him now. But in the
But
moment
it's
of
in
days,
the outline. You can't.
I
not
can't
read what's in the
erase.
outline.
You can't delete an online document.
Eagle.
So yeah, Kirishima, his absolutely horrendous back-to-back matches against Atami Fuji on Daisho on days 3 and 4. In the Atami Fuji match, he like tried a weird spinning thing, which just gave up his back to Atami Fuji for free and was immediately pushed out. And then his match against Daisho, where he failed to finish off Daisho, who was balancing on the Tawara. He decided to just stand there, look to see what happens.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that one was
then
rough.
Daisho was able to recover and defeat Kirishima. So just, I mean, he's injured.
Come on,
I feel
man.
bad, but yeah. Of course, we mentioned on the midway, the Ole Award, maybe the pinnacle Ole Award that we have ever awarded, goes to Onosato for his just absolute escort
Perfect
yourself
read
out of the
Daisho.
dojo against Daisho on day 8. The And Stay Down Award. I don't know who that goes to in this. Is it to like Hoshoryu or Hiradeumi for whoever kept knocking down the Gyoji? Does it go to the Gyoji for continually being knocked down? But the Gyoji in the Hoshoryu versus Hiradeumi match, who falls down, tries to get up, gets knocked down again, and declares the winner from his ass.
You.
Beautiful work.
Maybe the most beautiful Henka of the Basho goes to Roga for his Henka against Hokuto Fuji on day 13. One of those rare ones where it's just 100% miss and your guy just keeps running off the dohyo.
Yeah.
For Roga against Hokuto Fuji. Hated to see it because that's my boy Hokuto Fuji. Got some love for him, but can't deny the entertainment value of that one from Roga.
I added this one, the Gentleman's Outstanding Performance Award. The Outstanding Performance Award is often given to somebody like if there's a Magashira out there that beats that beats the Yokozuna who goes on to win the Yusho. You know, that's like the classic example of how you get the outstanding performance prize. But we didn't really have a situation where that would apply for this Basho, so I created the Gentleman's Outstanding Performance Award for the guy that beat the Yusho winner most spectacularly, and that is Hoshoryu absolutely yeeting Onosato fully bodily off the ground. Excellent throw. The other one that I added on here was the new Shodai Award, and that goes to Oho because I have no idea what's going on with him.
What
He beats
is
people he
Oho?
shouldn't, and he loses to people he shouldn't.
He's the bane of Hoshoryu's existence. That's what he is.
Yep, there you go.
And then the match of the Basho this time is going to be going to the aforementioned Hoshoryu versus Hira Umi match, in addition to the Gyoji hijinks that were ensuing. They were ensuing in a very exciting back and forth match that Hoshoryu did eventually win against Hira Umi. So congratulations to those two for winning the match of the Basho. So we have our Champ-Chump prediction series, which, Fleric, what happened in that one this time?
Oh, I think I got 2 points on my champ, and you're gonna take a lot of pity on me when you make D20 phrases for me to say.
Something
Part
like
of that was correct.
Okay.
And who won?
Oh, it was definitely Yokozuna Mac.
Yeah.
The
And I will point out,
luminous and sometimes luminous Yokozuna Mac.
Yes.
I will point out, I don't think we mentioned, Mac had the highest possible score anybody could have gotten this Basho. He had the person who would have had the highest score of any champ, and the combination of Rikshi that would have given him the highest score of any chump.
Cool. Didn't realize that.
Yeah. So congratulations to Mac for absolutely knocking it out of the park this time.
Thank you.
Well played.
But we also run this with our patrons in our Discord, where we had over 20 people enter the Champ-Chump, and we ended up with a tie for the winners, and both of them had sent in their winning statement. So starting with Mr. 100, he says, as my first time entering the Champ-Chump competition, I could be considered the Takeru Fuji on the GSB, but instead, I would like to thank the knowledgeable Mac for walking through the fire of competition with me as we ran to, skipped to, nay, we Suriyashi'd to victory, as I believe he also had the same combination of Onosato and Mitoryu
Yes.
to start the Basho, and then when Mitoryu pulled out, just shifted over to Tomokaze.
Well done. Well done.
Good
But
teamwork.
he tied for the win with Chewy-Ken, and this is Chewy-Ken's second consecutive patron Champ-Chump series win. So he says, 2 in a row. How many does it take to get a Yokozuna promotion?
Oh.
Props to the new hotness Onosato on his historic Yusho. Be sure to grab a cool Onosato shirt from Mawashi Guru's Redbubble. So thrilled to be here for the dawn of this new era of sumo. Long may he reign, at least until Takeru Fuji heals up. Thanks and sympathy to Tomokaze for insisting on staying in all 15 days with only one good foot. I'm not sure what Fleric was thinking choosing him as a champ, though. That was a bold choice. Shout out to the rest of Team Onosato, Mr. 100, HPO, and Mawashi Guru, the 4 people who chose Onosato as their champs this Basho, and everyone else.
They finished 4 of the top 5 because of that.
And everyone else in the Discord who added so much enjoyment to this Basho with great discussion and great memes. And of course, thanks to Mac and Fleric and the rest of the GSB team, and dibs on Onosato for July.
Salute to Mr. 100 and Chewy-Ken. Gunpei. We did it.
Yeah, good stuff. Well done.
Yeah, not kidding either. Mawashi Guru is one of our friends from California. You know what? I'll just put that link in our description here. But there's
Absolutely.
they've got a T-shirt that says Onosato is my what is it? I'll look it up. I'm gonna make sure that there's a link in there. But they made an Onosato shirt because he's one of the guys that they've met in person, like going to Sumo Worlds and stuff. So very cool shirt, very applicable right now. So
Definitely.
check that out. I'll make sure that's in a link in our description here.
All right, let's move on to talk about our favorite moment of the Basho. Mac, what was your favorite moment?
We mentioned it before, and that was after Onosato's victory, just panning over to his dad. That was a proud papa. And that it was just great to see that. And then shifting over to when he's walking out of the dojo in the tunnel and seeing Onosato breaking down. you gotta love Fat Man Tears. It's like you just gotta love him, especially with such an amazing accomplishment as he had. So that was my favorite moment.
And the Onosato shirt says, Onosato is my homeboy.
Yep, I just brought it up
Nice.
here too. And yeah, you can find that by searching SumoBola. That is the username on Reddit. SumoBola.
Flarek, what was your favorite moment of this Basho?
Oh, it definitely was not having to pick Tomokaze as my champ, as Chewy-Ken talked out I was forced to do at one point. Favorite Basho, it's gotta be the Yusho. Just look on his face and then his dad popping off. That was just fantastic. It was good. So I have to go with that. With kind of runner-up with Onosato getting thrown by Hoshoryu.
Dang.
That was also good.
I was gonna bring that up as a secondary thing, as like a let's not just talk about his win, because of course that's the one
Get
I'm
wrecked.
picking too.
Right.
Yeah, no, you got me there, Tsukebito Flarek.
Jake, do you have... I don't have anything else I could bring
No.
up as favorite moment. Yeah, it's
was a clear one.
Onosato riding that out to victory. And also mostly because like after day one and he beat Terunofuji, I think I made a comment. I don't remember if it was just in my notes or if I put it in our Discord saying like, yeah, this guy's gonna win 20 Yusho easily after day one. And so I'm
You were
very
certainly
happy
saying that by the midway. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very happy he followed it up with a Yusho. Well on his way to 20. We're only 5% of the
19
way
to
there.
go. Yeah.
So that is going to do it for our Natsu recap. The next Basho is going to be the Nagoya Basho beginning Sunday, July 14th, as late as it can start in July. Before the next tournament, we will have a trading card opening episode as the 2024 Series 2 box will be released. So we will have that. And maybe if I'm feeling spicy, we'll have a second one. I'm not going to guarantee that because I did buy a 2020 or 2021 set of cards that I was just too busy to open up between these last two Bashos. So I do have two boxes to open. We'll see if we do them both between Bashos.
Fun time.
My guess is no. We will have our Bonds-K prediction, Bonds-K review episodes. Are there any other episodes we're planning between the Bashos, Jake?
Almost certainly at least something amateur sumo wise. Like I said, Nationals is coming up in the next week here. Probably find somebody to do a recap of Nationals with or something. But yeah, we'll see. As always, check out the newsletter for the most up-to-date amateur sumo stuff. You can find that on our website. That's the American Sumo newsletter.
And can confirm, I did state after day one, Onosato's on his way to 20 Yusho. So if I hit that in 10 years, I'm gonna say I knew it. I was the first to say.
Ryan goes back in time. We were right.
How old do you think I'm gonna be when I'm 44 in 10 years? So I'm not gonna sound like I'm 80.
Well, you never know. Depends how much screaming you do.
That's fair. I do. It depends on how many dumb takes I'm going to have to scream at you about. So thank you, everybody, for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time, throw your salt high and keep moving forward.